Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear us. Oh, and you can see us. We should now be live with you all. If you can, as always, let us know in the comments if you can hear us and you can see us. It's always lovely to have that little bit of backup. I know I say this every week, but I know one of these weeks we're going to be studio talking to ourselves. Now, my first party trick this evening is collecting the card I've knocked off of the shelf with my back before letting it hit the ground, which actually kind of impressed myself because I'm pretty useless at things like that. So I know we've started a little bit early, but I'm hoping that it means that we're in the right place and on the right time and that you're all with us. But I know we might caught you a little unawares because we're not normally early for anything, are we? Now,
We're never early.
We're never early.
We're always late.
We always aim to be like 2 minutes early, don't we? We're always like, if we start at 2 minutes to 7, hopefully then we know that there's no gremlins in the system and that we're working. Because you never know. We had it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? That we started it and the sound wouldn't work or something.
Yeah.
And
Did we do the sound tonight? Did we check the microphones tonight?
Well, I've turned them up. So we hope that means they can hear us. I can see a couple of you are joining us. So we have got Alison with us, we have got Pippa with us, and we have got Yvonne with us. Good evening. It is lovely to have you all here. Especially on Bank Holiday Monday. I'm hoping you've all eaten lots and treated yourself to lots of eggs and had a lovely, lovely day, and including actually a lovely, lovely weekend. Today it's been quite wet and miserable here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not wet, that's probably a bit wrong actually.
Grey and dull and cold.
Yeah, grey, dull and cold here. But yesterday was lovely, we had some nice sunshine. So we can't moan, can we? Now, let's have a little look.
Sheila says the volume is excellent. So
volume is excellent. That is good to hear. Always good. Me and Pete always have this little panic. There's a little button on the little box we have to hit. And if we forget to hit the button, then I think it's kind of like silence. So it's always good to be remembered and to know that you can hear us. Good evening, Ali. Lovely to see you with us. Now, I believe Ali was at our lovely demo day this weekend at Gilly's Crafts. If any of you managed to go, let us know in the comments. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? I've heard incredible feedback and we are already in talks to do another demo day at Gilly's Crafts later in the year. Of course, we will keep you all up to date with that as we go through the next couple of months and as sort of plans fall into place. But it is exciting to see us doing demo days, and hopefully a few of our stockists might take us up on this and we might be visiting different places up and down the country. So if you haven't already, tag or tell or send smoke signals to your favourite stockists, your local stockists, whoever that may be, and tell them that you want a Jamie Rodgers Crafts demo day, and we will do our best to make that happen, and we will send Gwen down with boxes full of goodies to go and explore and play and hopefully inspire you, because I hear that is what happened at Gilly's Crafts this weekend. I hear you all had a lovely time, and I've seen lots of photos and I've been zooming in as you do on photos to see what you've all been looking at and what you've all been purchasing, and seeing it all going very, very well and very successfully, which is absolutely lovely to hear. We had a long chat today with Gwen, didn't we?
We did.
Gwen seemed to have really enjoyed her time with you all and is again very excited about coming back to Gilly's Crafts, as well as going out to lots of other stockists in the near future. Now, talking of stockists, before I forget, if we have any stockists with us this evening, today is really a play day. It's nothing in particular. It's more an excuse for us to say hello to you all and be with you for an hour or so this evening. And we'll do some demos and bits with you and answer any of your questions. But if we do have any stockists with us this evening, as always, please pop a link in the comments directing our viewers to your Jamie Rodgers Crafts area of your websites or your stores, so that they know where they can find all of the goodies we're going to be talking about, because it's always nice to know. As you all know, we don't sell direct, we only sell through our stockists, so you need to know where them stockists are, don't you? You need to know about them stockists. Now, of course, if there are no stockists with us this evening, because it is a bank holiday and they might not be here this evening, I always feel like I'm talking to the past when I do this, like get out the Ouija board and do a little bit of who's with us. But if they're not here with us this evening, then of course there is a stockist list on the Jamie Rodgers Crafts website, and you can pop on there and you can see all of the stockists that we know about around the world, so have a little look there. Before I forget, we haven't yet gone over to hostage cam, have we? Let's introduce Peter, who, for the record, and I don't know what I've done to the cameras, and it might just be us on our little screen here, but he looks rather yellow today. I just want to reassure you all, he's not as yellow as he looks. He looks perfectly healthy and perfectly happy. But on my little screen, he looks a little bit Simpson-esque. You'll have to let us know.
I mean, I know why that is, because I'm never let out of Hostage Corner. But evening all, hope you're all okay, or morning, depending on where we're watching.
You might look tanned.
I could look tanned.
Which would indicate you'd left Hostage Corner.
Do I look tanned? Do I look green? Do I look funny colour?
You could be a Simpson.
Comments in the box. Yeah, who would I be in The Simpsons?
Do you want me to answer that?
No. Should we move on to some crafting?
Should we do some crafting?
Let's do some crafting.
But we could just call you Ned for short.
Time you get your stencils out.
Stencils, time we did some playing, is it? So this evening, yeah, genuinely is all about just playing, really. So if you have any questions that we can help with, then as always, drop them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them for you. But if you don't have questions, we will just play. And we're kind of, I sung a little while ago and Pete told me I should sing to you all. You don't want me singing, I assure you. But we're going to turn back time and go through some of the previous collections that we've released over the last 9 months or so. Starting off with the Floral Wonder collection. So, but if you've got questions, jump in and we will do questions as we go through, because this really is just all about playing and chatting, to be honest with you. But this is, of course, our Floral Wonder collection that we're going to be starting off with. Now, just actually, before I forget, something I haven't spoke about. If you're tuning in today thinking it is going to be Stockist launch day for the brand new travel collection, it's not. That is Wednesday. Because of the bank holiday, we have delayed Stockist launch day to Wednesday. So on Wednesday night, we will be back again for another, well, not Monday night now because it's Wednesday, but we'll have to call it Wednesday night now. Wednesday night now, Stockist launch day on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And that's because of the bank holiday. So you get twice this week, 2 hours with us. And on Wednesday, we will do some demos from the travel collection and we'll talk about all the stockists that we know have got that en route or with them already. So Wednesday, 7 p.m, set your alarms, we'll be back again. But tonight, turn back time, playtime. Lots of silly names, aren't there? I apologise. But this is the one we're going to do.
Pippa would love to hear you sing.
Pippa, you really, really wouldn't.
Oh, she would.
You really, 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 really wouldn't. It's not good.
Jamie does a good share.
I don't do a good share. I like share, so I sing share, but I don't think I do it well. I think I probably do it terribly. So, just having a little look to see what we've missed. Good evening, Kim. Good evening, Angela. Good evening, Shirley. Ali says it was brilliant. Or she would do if I stopped moving the screen and losing her. Where's Ali gone? It was brilliant and there was cake. Oh, Ali, that sounds good. I should have been there. I like a bit of cake. Peter, check up on your comments because I keep losing them all. Debbie, good evening, Debbie. Lovely to have you with us, Debbie. Good evening, Nicola. Lovely to have you here. Sharon, Wendy, Lou, Dawn, good evening, both Jamie and Peter. I hope you both had a nice Easter. We've had a lovely day. Ali reckons you look tanned. Alison said it's because you don't get enough fresh air. He does. I took him for a walk today. Don't listen to him. Jamie loved your demo on Highlight Crafts where you stamped and stenciled over it. Any chance you could repeat it on your live sometime? We did that last week, Kathleen. So if you would like to watch that back, you can see that on the screen, on Facebook, wherever you are watching this. You just scroll down and it'll be back there. Or you can watch it on YouTube. There is a YouTube demo of it as well because we just put the lives that we do here onto YouTube the next day, so you can watch them there. But we will also do it this evening. So there is lots of options, so don't miss nothing. We will fit that in. Kim reckons it looks like you've been tanned with our sunbeam yellow. I think that was good. Jamie, you looks lovely on highlight. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say, Alison. I don't often wear white. Not common. And Pete was locked in the green room. Pete was with me, actually, but I didn't lock him in the green room, but he was there somewhere, lurking in the background as he does. So we're going to bring in our stamp, shall we? Should we do some work? Pete, keep up with the comments. That's your mission this evening. So our Floral Wonder collection. I'm going to show you the collection in case you missed them. We're going to do a little bit of looking back. So Floral Wonder collection. This one comes with a few background stamps. There is the Latin script DL stamp. I love this stamp, genuinely. I love anything that's scripty, and I like it even more when it doesn't actually read in a language I can understand, because it means I can use it for every single occasion. Whether it's making an Easter card, whether it's a Christmas card, whether it's a floral card, it doesn't matter, it's going to work for me. In this release, we also had the Lattice Elegant stamp set, again a DL stamp set, and these of course can be pattern matched to be much larger if you would like them to be. This one also had 2 matching stencils that go with it that put little bits in the diamonds if you would like to, but I didn't hook them out because I'm trying to show you just a brief overview of the collections this evening. You then have the Floral Melody DL stamp. Now this is absolutely gorgeous, and this again is what we class as a pattern match stamp, and that means that you can match it in all directions and stamp it. So you can do as large as you want to. Maybe this is your front room wallpaper you're going to do. Maybe it is a gift box, maybe it is a gift bag, maybe it is a scrapbook page. It doesn't matter. It will match up and you can stamp it in any direction you wish to. Then to coordinate with this collection is the focal elements that you're going to find within it. So you will find a rose dotted around in here in several places. So we have the Floral Lace collection. That's the wrong name. What's that got? Oh, these are our test packets. Ignore the names. This will be Floral Wonder collection, but it's the rose. This is just when we have them tested. Sometimes they come in the other collections until we change the names on the packets. Ignore that completely. But it is Floral Wonder collection rose, and the rose matches in with the Floral Melody background stamp. So the idea is you can stamp the background and then you can do a focal point to go with it. There is then the anemone. Have I got that right? I always fear when I say that. I always go to Nemo living under the sea because he lived in something similar to an anemone, didn't he?
Who did? SpongeBob?
No, not SpongeBob.
No?
No, SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Pineapple.
He doesn't live in an anemone.
Anemone.
Anemone. But
Anemone? Anemone.
I don't know. But Nemo does.
A flower.
Well, Nemo doesn't live in a flower, does he? He lives in a natural coral, I believe. I don't know. I wasn't that educated.
The viewer numbers are declining quickly.
So with this one, you've got the main focal stamp that we're going to be looking at. You've then got Best Wishes, Thinking of You, and a butterfly. And then to finish off this collection as such, or my favourite bits of it, is the borders and corners. So you've got the rose and you've got where Nemo wants to live in here, mixed in as corners and border bits to go with the stamps. So basically, in short, in case you've got lost in my complete waffle, you have got pattern backgrounds, you've then got a lovely, beautiful floral background, and then you have all of the elements that come within this one broken down into borders, corners, and flowers to layer on top of it. Oh, we've started something now with Nemo.
We have.
They've gone off on Nemo. Nemo's submarine was called Nautilus, which I'm probably saying wrong as well. Ali likes the fact that the pattern matches. I love a big stamp, and I don't like the fact that you see lots of joins. So when we started doing stamps, we really wanted to make sure that if we had to do joins, you wouldn't see them and they would be lost in the pattern. And that's what I feel we achieved with these. There's a few of them. This is just one of my favourites. Good evening, Lynn. Lovely to have you with us. Good evening, Fran. Lovely to have you here. And good evening, Lou. Lou says, I can't say it. I can't say it either if we're on about anemones. That loses me completely. It's one of about 1 million words I can't say. So we're going to move these off to one side and we're going to bring in our stamp to stamp this with, because we're going to start off where we should be and stamping our image. So we're going to bring in a piece of our polar white cardstock, which is actually a bit dusty and dirty, and we're going to bring in our stamp press. Now, while I'm lining this up, there is of course a quiz or a question for you to be able to win whatever I make this evening, because you know we like to give bits away. So we're going to make and give away the cards that we do this evening, or give away the cards we make this evening. So tonight's question is really, really simple for you. How many Easter eggs have you bought this Easter? So we know lots of you are going to be buying loads for the children, the grandchildren, all of the different family members. So we're interested to know, how many Easter eggs have you purchased this Easter? Now it could be like me and you've had millions of mini eggs, Cadbury cream eggs, mini eggs, them kind of things. So you can count the big ones, but not like the bags of mini eggs, because if not, that's going to be, you can count that as one. But if you count them as all of the individual mini eggs, that's going to be in the hundreds, isn't it? So just a rough idea of how many eggs have you bought this Easter. Now, I'm going to be honest, I am kind of upset this year because my very favourite, and I know I shouldn't talk about fast food, but my very favourite McFlurry has not made an appearance. I love a cream egg McFlurry. That's my ultimate favourite out of the McFlurry lineup, and it has not appeared this year, so I am not happy. They currently have some random apple pie thing, which is kind of nice, but not on the level of a cream egg one. It's just rude. So if I'd had them and I could count them as an egg a go, then my egg count would be slightly higher. But as I haven't, my egg count's probably quite low. But I would like to know, how many have you bought? Have you bought any? Have you bought loads? Peter, over to you to keep us up to date with the numbers we reach. So I've left my black ink downstairs. So I'm using a VersaFine Clear ink. I should be using our inks, which of course are alcohol friendly and waterproof and archival safe, and lots of other bits of gum that we write on the back of them that mean that they're really good inks. But I don't seem to find mine. I don't know where I've put it. It should be in the little drawer that's up here, and it isn't. I've got one of them, so we'll use one of them. Not a problem. But the moral of this story is our inks are, of course, alcohol ink friendly too, which means we can start bringing in our alcohol markers. Now, I'm just going to do some small amounts of colouring, and I would work off the side. I know I'm going to be trimming this out, so I'm going to work over here to do my testing. Usually I would do this on a scrap of card so that I'm not using up good card, but I do always do a little colour swatch. Possibly because of my markers are always quite cheapy ones. They're never posh markers, and the colours on the top don't always match the colour that comes out. So I always do a little test before I'm brave enough to go in and start my actual colouring. But if you've got posher markers, you might not need to do that. They might match up better.
If only you had some nicer markers, James.
If only I had some nicer markers, Peter. If only. It's not good enough. It's not good enough at all, Peter. How many eggs are we up to? Is it not that it's about the highest number? You might say you've bought no eggs. You might tell us you've bought 400. It doesn't matter. Pete is going to pick a winner regardless of how many or how few. But have we got a high number that we're aiming to be?
I spotted a 10 a minute ago.
Oh, 10's quite up there, isn't it?
Debbie. How lovely Debbie Frost.
Oh.
9 Easter eggs, Debbie. That's some going.
9 Easter eggs. That's not too bad at all. Now, the biggest question is here, are they for you or are they for the family?
That's the question.
Pete, we've been very naughty. As uncles, as family, we've been very naughty. We have totally dropped the ball, haven't we, Peter? We can be honest about this.
We're bad uncles.
We are bad family.
Bad sons.
We are just bad family. We have totally dropped the ball, totally forgot that nowhere is open on Easter Sunday, which is a terrible excuse, really, because, you know, we've had enough time to go and deal with this previously, and totally not bought any eggs for anybody. Pete did a couple of weeks ago, probably longer than that when they come out, he did buy a couple of little, like, I don't even know, are they still £1? This is showing my lack of knowledge here.
150 now.
150.
On offer at 150.
But he did buy a couple of the little eggs that we devoured ages ago. Yeah, so we've not been good, have we? We need to make up for this. But now if we buy them, they're just going to think we waited till they was reduced. But then we could buy them double. Maybe.
Good.
But we do need to counteract this, to be honest, don't we? Easter is certainly for sharing the love and making sure that family have eggs. So a little bit of blending. I always tell you this, so this is nothing new to you, I'm sure, but I colour like a 2-year-old, and my blending is certainly not the best. But we've gone on with a light colour. We've gone round the edges of the flowers with the dark colour, and then we're going to bring in the light colour with a circular motion to blend that together and just pull these two in. As I say, I'm not the best at colouring by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that you lot are a lot more pro colouring than I am. But you know what? That doesn't matter, does it? As long as we've liked roughly the effect we create at the end, it's not the end of the world. So in your comments as well, because it is all about chit-chat tonight, and questions. If you've got questions, then let us know questions. But in the comments tonight, I would like to know, over the bank holiday, have you all been crafting? Or have we been in the garden? Or have we been out? Or have we been with the family? What have we been up to? Any Easter-related stories or confessions of the weekend? We would love to know about them. Basically, because we're nosy.
A lovely Diane. Hi, Diane.
Evening,
Lovely
Diane.
She said the one egg she bought, she she ate it before she could give it to her brother.
Oh,
Diane, you're very naughty.
oh.
She's got a lot of laughter for that one, though.
Zoe sent me photos earlier of her eggs, and she had got white cream eggs.
Oh.
I didn't know they did a white cream egg.
Egg.
I didn't know they did such a thing. Did you? Answer carefully, because if you did know and you hadn't got me one, this could be murder.
Okay.
So you might pick your words carefully here. But I've never had a white egg. I've had just the white cream egg, but I haven't had it in an egg. Are you keeping up with any of this?
There's a lot of egg chat in there. From you, mainly. But...
Sorry, old.
Egg.
So all I'm doing now is I'm taking a white gel pen and I'm just working around some of the details. So a lot of the detail is already on these for you. And because of as I confess all of the time, colour like a 2-year-old, whenever I'm doing stamps, I want them to be as really detailed as they can be and kind of mark out all of the areas you need so that you don't have to really do too much. If you're not the best colourist, like myself, the hard work's done for you. And this is especially one of them flowers or one of them stamps. It's quite easy to just go in and pick out the areas that you want to do and follow the design that's laid out for you. There's nothing complicated here. So within literally a couple of minutes, whilst having a lot of egg chat, we've managed to colour in our flower. And that's all right. I'm happy with that. You know, yes, it could be better. Yes, I could have stayed within the lines. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. No one's going to study it to that much of a degree. I would be relatively happy with that one. But of course, you could do a better job. You could blend in more colours if you wish to. And if you don't like what you've done, if you think, well, actually, I would like to cover that up a little. There's a few options, isn't there? We could bring in some clear texture paste and we could add that over the top of that flower. We could stipple it on with a brush. We could layer it on with a palette knife. We could colour over the whole image if we've coloured it. And that would distract the eye a little bit because it's going to give you kind of a glazed look to the top of it. That would work really nicely. Tonight, we're not meant to be talking about these at all because this is what we'll chat about on Wednesday. But maybe bringing in some of our waxes might work quite nicely. We could pick up some of this. I've really fell in love with this because I'm not the best colourist, and just actually glazing over the top or adding a small amount over the top of your colouring, especially if you do the Snow White, because of the Snow White, you're probably not going to see it too much on the white card, so we can go over the edges without worrying. But actually where we've coloured the flower, this is going to bring on more of a texture to it. So I know we're not really supposed to be talking about these, and these aren't yet available, as in like mainstream available. They will be available from all of our stockists as of Wednesday. Hence we will be back for stockist launch on Wednesday. But can you see what that's done to the top of that? Can you see that little, I don't know how well you're going to see it. Oh, that might be better. So you've got that little shimmer. So again, if you're trying to disguise your colouring, there are so many ways in which we can do that, that just kind of take the eye away slightly from what we've done and give us a different look. Maybe if we wanted, instead of or as well as, we could go in with some diamond white of the texture paste and potentially add that over the top. And again, we're not going to use a lot of this. I might do better actually. And again, you could dilute this down with water and put it over the top. But we could just pat a small amount of this over the top there, so that we end up with a bit of white glitter going into our mix. We'll lift that one up so you can see that as well.
Ali asks if you can water down your wax and colour with it.
The waxes are oil-based, so not with water. I haven't actually tried this, to be honest, so forgive me for my vagueness. I don't know, you probably could dilute it down with the relevant product, but I haven't. I've stuck with them as they are. All of our other products, so like texture based, for instance, these are all water based, so absolutely you can. Maybe, I think it's white spirit people do that with. I've never really done it, so I'm kind of out on a limb here. I bet if Gwen's with us this evening, she'll have the answer. Gwen's full of brains, but possibly you might be able to hook it out. But certainly try it. Hook a small amount out and see how you get on. You don't have to use a lot, do you? I keep using the end of my tweezers to hook them out, because if I'm going to mix colours, and I'm doing that quite a bit, it's like I said this, you know, it's always hard, and I'm going off on this now, aren't I? I'm sorry, I'm not meant to be. But we've done 6 colours of these, and we'll talk more about these Wednesday, I promise. But there are 6 shades, basically, in honesty: copper, gold, silver, pink, blue and white. I'm really pleased we started with these 6. I'm absolutely in love with them. I'm so pleased with them. They do so much more than I imagined, and are incredible. But you do always look at a colour palette when it's limited to 6 colours and think, well, I really would like a red for Christmas. I would really like a dark green. I would really like a cream. Do you know what I mean? And one of the colours I kind of wanted was a green. So if you take obviously a little bit of the gold and a little bit of the blue and mix them together, you end up with a really lovely green. And I think that's sometimes something we forget that we can do with waxes. We tend to think of doing that with paints and bits, but we don't always think of doing it with waxes. And that does work really nicely. So yes, mixing them can work. Diluting them down to paint with them, as I say, honesty is always the best policy, not something I've personally tried. So here we are with our panel. Let's jump forward to one I've already coloured. Now I didn't, when I did this one, bring in all of them extra bits that we just did. This one's just a flat one that's been coloured with alcohol markers. And actually I think when you look at the two side by side, this one's so much nicer because it does distract a little bit more. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to do more of that because that really does kind of look lovely. And I think we could build that into more things. But anyway, going off on a tangent, let's take that out of the way for a second. Now I got Pete to line these up a minute ago, and I've already gone and moved them. Now in this release, the bit I didn't share with you, I've not done this very well at all, have I, Peter? In the release, when we bought this collection out, we also bought out our dotty line stencils. Now these are 4 individual dotty lines that I absolutely love for adding just a small amount of detail to your project. So I've got a few of them here. We've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's as if I've prepared it. I really didn't. That was lucky. So we've got 4 different sizes of our dots. Now I'm going to set Pete a little mission here. What does this set retail for? Oh,
$5.99.
yeah, that's what I thought. I'm with you on that. Thank you, Peter.
Let's roll with that.
So we think $5.99 by memory, and you get all 4. And these are great because, of course, you can ink through them, you can apply a texture paste through them, you can mist through them. You can also put them into your machines with a rubber mat and emboss them and end up with a beautiful, just textured border. But for our one, we're going to use them with some texture paste, and we're going to put a line of them going down the side here. Now, let's find a palette knife and let's bring in a colour of texture paste. So, oh, Sharon, oh, I just missed the top of that. Sharon says blending solution, that might work. Again, nothing hurts in trying, isn't it? It's all about experimenting, isn't it? To be honest, I always think that with so many things. And we lose such a little bit by trying. And it's better to try and not know than never try and not, you know, I don't know what I'm saying now. I've lost my own plot, haven't I? I'm trying to work out, I'm going to line that up. I think that's going to be better. So, because I'm on the edge of a piece of card I've cut down, I don't want to go on and have a wonky line. So I'm going to bring the 2 together, and I'm going to use that as my guide so that I can then bring this level in and put that against the edges of the dots and then go down there. Now, of course, if you've got a scoreboard to hand or a mat or anything else along them lines, then of course you could do it with those, and that would probably be an easier and neater way. But as I didn't have them or think of them, we're going to go by using one of the other stencils as a guide. And we're just going to take our dots down here, take away the excess, and see what we've created. Oh. So we've got a perfect little dotty line running down the side. Now these stencils come to me because I love using, and I don't think I've got any up here, but I love using little pearls that you buy. Oh, I have got some. Here we go. These kind of things where we buy these and we use them by the line and you pull them off. I never managed to get them level. I never do, never happens. There's always a bit of a kink or a wonky bit. They never match up equally, and I'm never overly happy with how they come out. I don't know why, it's probably just me, but I'm never overly chuffed with them. And I thought, well, if we bought you stencils that we could work with instead, we could just make these to whatever length we want them to be. We can extend them down. We could do patterns side by side. There's loads in which we could do with these. We could make up backgrounds with them if we want to. But these are just something I really love working with because they're easy to work with, they're cost effective, and depending on what you're doing with the rest of your project, they might even match in with what you're doing in other areas, so everything's going to coordinate. Now, if you're worried about the edges, then of course just put some masking tape or something down there, or be a little less messy than I am. But it's more just trying to show you how effective these are. How gorgeous is that little dotted line on the black? Isn't that gorgeous? And then should we do, oh, we're at it now, aren't we? Should we do the small line as well? This one always amazes me because it's so delicate and so fine, and yet still comes out looking beautiful. So these are, and I'm going to go by memory and I will check on the packet in a minute. I think they're 1mm, 2mm, 3mm, 4mm dots. So you literally scale up as you go. And that again means that you could make up some really cool backgrounds going from different sizes. Or of course you could make up frames with them. You could do these over the top of your die cuts. There's loads we could do with these. Look how dinky that one is. So that is your 1mm line. But every one of them perfectly formed, perfectly beautiful. Little dinky dot that looks really cute. I love these. So we're going to pass these off to Peter and he's going to pop them into some water for us. Now what I was on about coordinating throughout our project is, and I know you know where I'm going to go with this. You lot have been doing this long enough that you're going to know what I'm going to say. But let's see if we can do a little bit, because if I can find a paintbrush, which even in my big pot of brushes is starting to actually look a little bit less likely than I imagined. What's going on here, Peter? Got all of these big brushes and no little brushes. We'll have this one. We'll do a bit of stippling. That's fine. So we'll bring back in our texture paste for a second. We'll take a small amount, oh dear. Take a small amount of that and we'll throw it on the counter. Let's find a mat to work on. Here we go. And then can we pick up that bit? I think I've probably just made it worse, to be honest. There we go. That bit's gone. And then we'll bring in some water in a little mister bottle. We'll give that a mist. And I've got far too much there for what I need, but it's not the end of the world. And then imagine I'm working with a paintbrush, not a stipple brush. But as the only paintbrushes I seem to have are about 1 metre wide, we will go with this one instead. We're going to dilute that down in the water. And then we can bring over this panel. And then maybe, well, this might be a bit heavy. Maybe we should have gone for a lighter colour, but it's not the end of the world. And we could possibly blot that off. We can start adding in that same rose quartz that we've got going on in our dots over the top of our flower. Now, I think we would have done better to do this in the white like we did over the first one that we were playing with, but it's okay. We'll play. We'll see what we think. Maybe we want to take a little bit more of that away. Well, actually, when you're not over the top of it, it looks quite nice. So we'll have a little flash of that. So you've got that same copper coming through, then as you glaze over the top of your flower, as what you've got running down the side. And this is what I mean about having the ability to mix and match throughout your projects by having a stencil to do it with instead of doing it with card or with sticky gems, is what I'm trying to say. So, did we have any more people confessing how many Easter eggs they have had to buy? Because I'd also like to know, another Easter egg related number, how many Easter eggs you've eaten. Because if we are quite nosy, and I know this is going to get confusing for the number part of this evening, but Pete don't mind. Anything Easter eggy related, we're happy to know. How many eggs have you given in and eaten so far?
Where are we up to? 2 each?
2 each, 2 each, don't 2 each. We stick to
Oh,
one,
they're only
Peter.
small.
1 is all we know of. One.
Maybe it is one.
Well, we had the little one a little
Backtrack.
while ago, didn't we? And then
We
Lisa
did.
bought us one each. And I know I've demolished my one of the one that Lisa bought me. I don't know if yours has gone yet, has it?
No, but by the sounds of things, I need to guard it tonight.
It does need to be protected. Big Brother and Easter egg are on the horizon. While we are talking about Big Brother, which is probably just a me and Pete thing, is anybody else watching Big Brother? I often think it is just on for me and Pete. I feel it may just be us. And if you are watching it, are you aware tomorrow night they're evicting 3 people? Do you know that?
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think it must end on Friday.
I think it was 3. Sorry, Joanna's just distracted me. Joanna, 25 cream eggs.
She's eaten or she's purchased?
I don't know. She could
Joanna,
be delayed in watching and commenting.
we need to know, are
That
these
is
ones
impressive.
you've eaten or purchased? So best wishes again comes in with a stamp. So that is the one that comes in with the flower here. It's at the top. And then we're going to bring in a butterfly, and I'm going to use our elegant butterfly die set. And we're just going to place that in off to one side. Again, just cut from the polar white. Card size wise for you, in case you'd like to know more about this one. This one is 5 3/4 by 6.5, roughly. Sorry, dropping the rule. So yeah, to give you a size idea, and I've gone for a tent fold as such, so joined at the top, not the sides. I love making these. A little bit annoying though that I can never purchase them, so I have to buy big cards that are normal and then cut them down. That is something we're looking at, being honest with you, because I love these top sort of joined ones. I know they don't always stand as brilliantly, but I do think they look nicer. So it is something I would like to see us add to our collection at some stage. But that is your first card in which you can win. So we'll pop that off to one side. And I'm so bad at names. Who was it that asked about the technique that we did on highlight? Oh, I'm setting you on a mission now, and I will do that technique before I forget, because you know me and my memory, it's likely that I'll forget and then we'll never remember. So I'm going to show you this as well while we're here. This is all 4 of the lines put out onto a little demo board that we did when they launched. So 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil. And I feel like that's a little nursery rhyme. So yeah.
It was Kathleen who asked.
So for Kathleen, we will have a little look at that technique so that we can show you that, because it's always nice to have questions and to be able to help with answers. So let's see if we can find something to stamp. I'm just digging in my stamp drawer.
Oh, Kim says she doesn't eat chocolate, but she had a fried egg with a breakfast this morning. Does that count?
Fried egg with a cooked breakfast. Well, we'll take the naught. We don't mind naught, do we, Pete?
No. And we haven't had a pub update either, Kim.
No, she hasn't confessed her pub outgoings.
Discussion about IPA earlier, but no pub update, Kim. We
Who
need
was
to
discussing IPA? They was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's allowed.
Something
I
to
thought
dilute.
you was.
No, something to dilute your waxes or something. I got a bit lost.
I had a feeling there you was confessing drinkings.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
But I will have a beer with Kim. Just
Will
to
you
keep her
now?
company.
Keep her company, eh?
Yeah.
I'm just digging for some ink. Sorry. I will be back. Oh, here they are. I think I found my black ink pad. I have found my black ink pad. Different drawer. Honestly. What my like. So we're going to bring in this lovely rose, which of course is from the Floral Wonder collection as well. And we're going to bring in a piece of white card. And we're going to use the squirrel red from the ink pads. So for the stencil technique that Kathleen asked about, we would start off with a piece of card and we would start just stamping some random stamps. Now they might all be the same, they might be completely different. I've gone for one that's quite big just because in that way I'm going to fill an area faster and you're not going to have to watch me do loads and loads of stamping, because that can be kind of boring, can't it, to be honest. But we'll make up a bit of a background in this area and see what we can come up with. Did anybody else confess Big Brother watching? Lynn sometimes will confess with us. Did she jump in and say she's watched?
Ali is watching, so they're all starting to turn on each other.
They are, aren't they? A little
Which
bit.
they are.
Do you have a favourite, Ali? That's something I'd like to know. Have you got a favourite, Pete?
No, I don't think so. I haven't really.
No, I don't think I have this year. I don't think
No
there's anybody I'm
standout
like
ones.
really up for winning. I say this and then my mind always goes blank because I can never remember who's in it. I can only ever remember TV when I'm watching it. But afterwards, I've got a memory like a sieve. And it all just goes straight out of one ear, in one ear and out the other. Who's in it? Bianca, who's not called Bianca. She's actually called Patsy, but she's not. No.
She's not
Is
called
it?
Patsy.
It's not called Patsy either, is she?
No.
She's called Julie. That's a confusion for somebody who's got terrible memory. Then you've got Jojo, Chris, the singer guy, who I forgot his name, Chesney Hawkes.
Chesney Hawkes.
Who else is in it? I always think this is a good test because if you can't remember they're in it and you've watched them for an hour, most nights for the last 2 weeks.
That is quite bad, isn't it?
That is quite bad, isn't it? So yeah, but we are genuinely interested. Who's your faves?
Oh, Danny.
Oh, Danny. Yeah, I quite like Danny. He's quite funny. I don't mind Danny. I think he might win. I wouldn't be shocked if he won. I thought Trisha was going to win. But as Trisha's gone, I wonder if it might be Danny. I don't know.
Joanna's just asking, sorry to distract from your big brother.
That's all
Where's
right.
the rose from again, please?
The rose, I will show you. I say I'll show you because I forgot. So we'll have a little flick and we'll see which set the rose is in, shall we? Because that's how good the memory is today. The rose. Let's find the rose. So it's not in that one. That's the borders and corners set. But in that one, you do get the rose corner, you get the rose border, and you get that little twiddly bit. I was very tempted to nearly use the twiddly bit for this bit, this background, but I thought it was a bit smaller and you'd have to watch me do a lot more stamping. So the rose is in the rose set. So it's this one here from in the big one. I like the big rose because it's big enough to be a focal point. Then you've got a little heart with love and happy birthday all coming to you in that one set. So once we have created this part of our stamping, and this doesn't have to be stamping, this might be a background paper that you like instead. To be honest, it doesn't have to be about stamping, but I like the factory stamp because I'll show you why in a minute. Everything will coordinate shortly. So we'll bring in, what should we go for? Diamonds? Pinstripe? I'm digging. I'm going to see what other options we've got. Hold on in there, guys. We will. Oh, I think it's going to have to be that one. I love this. This is the tile collection. So we'll go for the small ornate tile background. I haven't used this for a little while, so we're going to use this one. So I have to remember this. We're going to put this on the wrong side of what we've stamped. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. It just means you're going to emboss it in a different way. So it's just down to whether we get a positive or a negative. So we've got the plate. We've got our stencil. We're going to lay that in place. Now, if you were doing this over a precise bit that you've stamped, you might want to hold it up to the light so you can see the stencil through the back there and then tape it in place so you make sure you stay in the right area. I'm not too worried for what we're doing this evening. So it's not the end of the world. We're then going to bring in our rubber mat. Now, whenever we bring in the rubber mat and we place this on top of the card, it's going to push down into the apertures of the stencil and it's going to create our emboss or deboss, depending on what way we're placing our card on it as such, what side we want to use. We're then going to send that through the machine so it does its magical bit, which is pushing it down and making that work.
Joanna has already got the stamp. She just realised she's already got it.
Oh, I know what it's like, Joanna. Honestly, we all do it, don't we? We kind of have these collections and we forget which bits we've put there and why, and yeah, we're all guilty. Don't feel bad, you're amongst friends. So we can take that part away, and we'll take away our mat and our rubber mat. Now, the bit I forgot to do actually, so we're going to do it now, is if you want to keep this quite crisp, we can tape that stencil into place so that when we ink over the top of it from the other side, we don't go in the gaps. So we're going to do that so you can see what I mean, because I often think I just waffle, make very little sense. So we're going to anchor that down. And if I had a thought of this, I would have taped it in place first so that it was perfectly in place. But we've done it now, so it's not the end of the world. Some stencils that's easier to do than others. We can then bring in an ink. Now, we don't have to use the same ink at all. This could be a different colour, it could be a different pattern, it could be anything it wanted to be. We might also choose to colour these roses in first, before you've embossed them even. So there's more colours coming into play. But we're going to take the ink and we're going to rub over the top. Now, by keeping the stencil in place, what we're doing is we're meaning that when we're pushing down, we're not pushing directly down and crushing the card. Because although we've embossed it, if we don't have that fretwork underneath, and I'll bring this bit in from earlier, if we do this one, this is just a diamonds one, the harder we push, the more this card is going to give way, especially with a juicy ink. You're putting moisture into cardstock. You put moisture into cardstock, it's going to become more malleable, is that the right word? Movable, squidgeable, whatever word you wish to use. We're going to squidge it down and we're just going to end up with a red card. So keeping the stencil in place means that we're pushing down on the stencil, not on the cardstock. And that grid work is staying in place for us. So we can go all the way over the top of this, keeping that fretwork just where we want it to be. Now this one's quite an open stencil, so we're still going to get some of the red go through because we're in quite big areas. If we was using a smaller stencil, like if we was using the diamonds for instance, and we brush over the top of this one, then you're not going to necessarily get as much colour go through into the openings. Bigger the area, more chance of going through. If you're worried about that, depending on what you're doing, then use a brayer, because a brayer is harder than an ink pad, and a brayer will give you a different effect completely. I don't mind that little bit of red going through. I actually think that looks quite nice. But it's all up for where you're aiming for and what you're aiming to do. Once you've got to this stage, you can of course take this stencil away. Now if you wanted to, you could leave that stencil in place, you could add more to it, we could do more with it. Or we could bring this stencil over and we could add more over the top. So I'm looking at that and thinking, well actually, we could mask off them out openings and we could do more within them openings. We know that the red is going to stay in place. So let's anchor that down like so. And we'll do the same at the bottom here. And then maybe, let's bring in, and I don't know how this is going to look because this isn't something I've done before. So if it looks awful, do you know what? We lost a bit of card. If it looks lovely, we'll come up with something slightly different to play with. So we'll go on to a baking tray. I like to work on these because they're easy to move and easy to clean. And I'm going to bring in one of our elite misters. And we're going to use the rose petal pink. And we're just going to mist over the top. Now that's going to, of course, go in really nicely. Oh, excuse me. That's going to go in really nicely with that squirrel red that went through into the background and give us a bit more of a shade. We're then going to bring in the sunbeam yellow. And we're going to mist this over the top. Now, we don't necessarily have to do all of it. We're just going to go for a few areas. So we've got a little bit of that sunbeam yellow, that orangey really, orangey yellow, absorbing into it as well. We could then say, well, actually, now we've got that down and we've got some colour in place, what we'll do first of all is we'll take off the excess ink from the top of the stencil. Because if we don't take off the excess, we're just going to be making a mix and putting that mix through the stencil, and we're going to end up with just a coloured texture paste going through. So we kind of want to dry this off a bit so that we've let that absorbed colour go into the cardstock without adding another shade or another glaze to it of a colour. But we are going to bring in that clear texture base. And now, if I can get rid of my lids, we'll bring some of this in and we'll apply this over the top. I've picked up like the strangest palette knife. Can you tell?
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Have you not? I don't often go for this one. I don't know how I picked this one up. Comes in the set that you get, and yeah, it's a bit random, isn't it? I'm sure if I was more arty, I'd be able to tell you that this is called a Duduf palette knife and it has a purpose. But as I'm not particularly arty, I don't actually know why this is like a rounded one. It's like a safety one you're going to give to a child, isn't it?
Well, a quick question to Ali. Says, is your ink pad a felt one?
It is a felt one, yes. Can you hear the cogs whirring from where you are?
Yeah.
Oh, I never get them right because I always forget. But yes, it is a felt ink pad, which is great because it means it's stronger. We did this last week, but I'll show you again in a minute. if you go to our metallic ink pads, they're much more like a foam pad and they're a lot more giving. So when we go over the top of embossed work like we did here with this one, if it was the foam, it's going to give way and it's going to go into all the gaps because it's squidgy. And if it's squidgy, it's just going to kind of obliterate what's underneath it. So if we bring in, let's bring in a cactus green. We'll come to that in a second. So these ones, squidgy ones, they just give way. You put the corner of the ink pad on it, it just goes into it. And that means if we bring this over to the top here, the minute we start trying to apply colour, we're literally just colouring the whole thing, aren't we? You know, we've just ended up with a really lovely but metallic green card. So foam, if we go on to felt, when we push the lid against this one, you can see very little give. And that means that when we're going over the top, we've got that extra body, that extra strength. Now, as I say, it doesn't matter really too much if you think of that and think, oh, well, I don't want to collect any foam ones because I want to be able to go over the top of that. Do not fear, just bring in a brayer because a brayer again is a hard surface. So pick your ink up on a brayer, take that over the top. This is even harder than that is, so it's really not going to go into the gaps and it's just going to kiss the top of the cardstock, which is really what, for this technique, we want it to do. So take those inks out of the way, take that panel out of the way. We'll remove this stencil and we'll see roughly what we created. Now I know we went off on a bit more of a tangent there, didn't we, Kathleen, to where we started and the technique we did on highlight, but it's kind of nice to show you slightly different variations. Same concept, same printing, same embossing as such, but actually adding that texture paste over the top gives us that really cool clear glazed look. Now I know we went for the clear and I quite like the clear because this has given us like a vintagey look to it, but this is sticky, this is wet obviously. So we might choose to sprinkle some glitter over the top of that, depending on the project you're doing, depending on the theme you're going for. You might want to sprinkle some glitter in there, you might want to sprinkle some mica powder in there. You could mist over the top with your misters and add in another level of colour if you wanted to. Of course, whatever you're adding, if you still want to see them roses coming through from the background, we don't want it to be too harsh, we don't want to cover that up too much. But this to me, really cool vintage background, looks like fretwork, kind of a fun way to do it. Now the other side, this is obviously embossed. We went for debossed so that we could rub the ink over the top and not cover it up. If we'd rubbed the ink over the top of this side, the rose bit would only be coming through in the fretwork element of this. You're not really going to see it. So we went for deboss instead of emboss. Okay? Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that answers your question. We'll pass that off to Pete and he can put it onto one side so it can dry. Roughly that clear texture paste with the depth that we just applied it to that project, I would imagine about 45 minutes, maybe half hour. Always depends on how thick your stencils are, what temperature your room is, all of them kind of bits, but roughly about 35, 40 minutes-ish, I would imagine. Any other questions that we have to answer?
Kim's asking if there are just 6 misters at the moment.
Oh, don't do this, Kim. Can you hear the tone? Shall we see the face?
Don't put it on me.
Look at the face. Show them the face I get.
I can't do it on demand.
Can you not?
No.
How many misters are there, Peter?
I feel under pressure now. He's put me under pressure.
Under pressure?
Are there 6 misters, Jamie?
There are 6 misters. And you well know that there are 6
Are there
misters.
6 misters?
There are 6 misters, Peter. Honestly. I'll take you off so you don't have to, you know, struggle there to keep a straight face.
So at the moment, how many are there?
Stop it.
6.
Stop it. I spent too long with Gwen. Do you like the sternness? Gwen's good at the stern bit. I need to get better at the stern bit. But yes, there are currently 6, Kim. Currently.
Fran's asking how Sherlock is.
Sherlock's good, thank you. He's all right, thank you. Yeah, he's good. He's a cat that likes to cause mischief, but he's an adorable cat. He hasn't appeared today, has he? Last week he appeared at the door and sounded like, well, wailing banshee, didn't he, really? Sounded like he'd got proper problems.
He did.
That is just what he does. He is an attention seeker, complete attention seeker, but he is adorable. So, okay, Next up, a little bit random for you, but if there's no other questions, we can always go off. Sheila says, Peter. This is for Peter, isn't it, Sheila? You needed to start your question, Peter. But how many are on the way?
Sorry, what? Oh, I've had, that message has just popped up.
Is it? It's just
Yeah,
come
I
up,
was
is
like,
it?
what is it
So
about?
I think if you click the little black dot, Sheila, you can edit your question. So you can put in the front of it, Peter, how many more are there coming?
No comment.
No comment. Is that it? Is it
All
America? They
my
plead the
life is
5th,
worth.
isn't it? Is it
Yeah, I
they plead the 5th on the court shows we watch?
it might be something different.
I don't know. I don't know. You can, we'll attempt to do that. Okay, so now we've incriminated Pete and his non-answering. Oh, Pete. Oh, no, it says, I thought she said, oh, Peter. Okay, Peter, how many are on the way? I don't think we're going to get that information out of him. I don't think that's going to...
More than my life as well.
I don't think we're going to get that information out of him. What we could do is ask him
Oh,
when,
here we go.
and then watch him kind of scream a little, because I don't think he knows the actual answer to that. So I'm thinking 2 months? 3
2
months?
months. What?
If there was to be more.
If there was to be more.
If.
Like a couple of months.
Couple of months.
Maybe a bit less.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair you tease and then
No.
not give some sort of guidance.
It's being finalised now, isn't it?
Maybe.
Is it?
Oh, I hate this because I tell him everything. You know me. I tell the world everything. I don't like the secret side of this life. I don't. I would tell you everything. But yes, maybe there are some more coming. Anyway, let's go back to this, shall we? So we're going to do a Christmas card. I know it's early. I know. I'm sorry. But I did tell you tonight we was going to turn back time and look through some previous collections. I'm not singing. I'm not singing. It's not allowed. They'll never watch if I start singing
might not
at
like
them.
you.
No, they won't. No, nobody would like it. But I said we'd play with some previous collections. And one of my favourites has to be Christmas, doesn't it? I love the Christmas collections. So we're going to do this one. I'm not convinced we didn't do a video of this on YouTube. So if you've really seen this before and you're sick of it, I'm sorry. But I have a kit, so we're gonna play with it. So we have got our Christmas tree. Now our Christmas tree is gorgeous. I meant to show you this, aren't I? And I haven't. So a couple of minutes of Christmas and then I promise we'll move on. So the Christmas collection. To recap the Christmas collection for you, in the Christmas collection we have got the opulent Christmas tree. This is the one that we're going to be playing with for this demo. We then have the Christmas scene. I love this. Sharon used this with the travel collection. I'll show you that on Wednesday, but made an incredible card using this with the travel collection. Looks really, really good. Then we've got the Jolly Holly Corners, which I just love the name of, if nothing else. But I do love these. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful detailed design. I think you might see more from this year. I think, as in that design, because I love it so much. Nothing finalised yet, but we're going to use them in this collection, in this demo. You've then got the elegant poinsettia petals, these really large, massive poinsettia petals that can make huge flowers. And although we call them poinsettias, they don't have to be. They really, really don't have to be, but I love that. Then we've got the classic poinsettias. I know we was greedy last year. We did 2 poinsettias in one release. And this, of course, is one of our panel dies. So everything on there will cut in one go. And you're going to end up with loads and loads of little flowers to play with. Beautiful. Then we've got the festive foliage. So you've got your hollies and your berries and your twigs and all of those bits coming through in this one to play with. And then we had 2 sentiments. Oh no, I'm missing one. We did the frosty snowflake corners. So frosty snowflake corners, very, very cute, very Frozen-esque. And then we have got the 2 sentiments, which are Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas. And these are the ones, of course, that have the interchangeable outside edges that match in with the Mats and Layers collection. And they, of course, match in with the With Love and the Happy Birthday that come out in our very first collection. So that gives you a little overview of the Christmas collection, which I think was called Essential Christmas, wasn't it? Essential Christmas collection. Yeah. And we're going to bring in our chameleon green ink pad for this. So we've die cut from green card, but a lighter green card to what our ink is. And again, when this die cuts, and you might see this better before we start colouring it, there are lots of debossed areas on this. Not loads, but quite a few. And there's quite a few that mark out where your pearls and your gems are going to go. But there's also the really nice bits on the trunk and where the star are and a couple of other bits. So really nice to go and ink. So we're going to bring in our green ink. and we're going to rub this over the top. Not worried about if we go into the deboss areas, because most of them are for where pearls and gems are going to go. So we're going to cover them anyway. But we're going to go over the top, and we're going to make our two-tone green tree. So when I give you a lift of this, hopefully you can now see how easy that was to make our double tone. And this can be quite vintage, it doesn't have to be crisp. We go back a conversation. If you wanted it to be more crisp, then apply your ink with a brayer. If you wanted it to be pearlescent, should we do a pearl tray?
I'm very excited at your pearl tray.
I find I do this, Pete. We work at a collection when it... I'll try this again. We work with a collection at that moment, and we don't always get too much chance to go back and do more with it. So these inks come out, what, last month, month before? And this tree come out last year. So the idea of bringing these together is the first time I've thought of it. But actually, being able to go over the top of this, so we've now got a three-tone green tree. We've got pearl, we've got dye, and we've got the green card. I think that's actually a really lovely idea.
A couple of questions. Lovely Linda, evening Linda.
Hello, Linda.
Any chance of teenage girls collections, but not hair, makeup, shoes, bags, etc.? And then a question from our lovely Alison, lovely glue pimp.
You can't call her that. I'm not even going to repeat it. I'm not convinced you can call her that.
I don't know. She says, what about a garden collection, like plant pots, flowers and conservatories, etc.?
All I'm going to say is you asked for two collections in them questions from two different people. One of them may not be years away. And that's all I'm giving you. Because of Pete's giving me the look. The look. But one of them might not be millions of miles away. And the other one, for the record, I think is a very good idea. And maybe we could add that later down the line. So I'm now going to bring in, I didn't do this on the last one, but we're going to bring in some of the gold texture based. And we're going to add this to the star at the top. I think I coloured the last one with gold pen instead. But actually, we want a bit of sparkle, don't we? So we're going to bring in some gold glitter. And we're going to add that to the top. Now what I'm thinking, I'd quite like to do, and we weren't going to do this, I'm going to add this gold over the tree as well. We're going full on bling this time. So a little bit of gold on the fingertip. You could do this with the waxes if you don't like sparkle. Not everyone likes sparkle, do they? But if you like sparkle, a little bit of gold. We're going to be adding some green to this in a second, which is actually what I'm meant to be doing now. But I kind of like the gold because it's going to match in with the star at the top and it gives that look of tinsel. Now I know it's Easter, isn't it? And here we are, colouring a Christmas tree. I apologise. That is a little bit off the charts even for me. We are early talking about Christmas. We don't normally start talking about Christmas till June, do we? We will, of course, be having Christmas in June this year, I believe. Might be July, but around that time we will be having a Christmas release. I'm very excited about. My problem is this year, I would like about 8 Christmas releases. I keep thinking of all of these different things I want to do as Christmas and go back and visit. I'm very good at that with collections. If we do something and I like it and you like it, I'm always like, well, actually, could we do an everyday version of that? Could we do a Christmas version of that? So some of our Christmas things that are on the plan are ones you've seen before or concepts you've seen before, but with a Christmas twist. Others haven't even yet been decided, but there is going to be quite a bit of Christmas, I hope, this year. I'm really looking forward to Christmas crafting, which is probably why I'm starting it or showing you a Christmas tree in April on Easter. I find, honestly, I don't know why you people watch. You must think we're completely off our rocker. Here we are, Easter bank holiday, colouring a Christmas tree in glitter. But I'm so pleased you do watch. I'm so pleased you do come and join us. And join in with our random chats. So we've now done some ink. We've then done some metallic ink, all over green card, and then added in some texture base. And I can hear Pete chuckling. Is this something you can repeat?
It's a public comment, so... But Alison's response initially was glue pimp, ha 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 ha, with a couple of kisses. And Diane, again, this does conjure up an image after you've put this comment on there. She says, unfortunately, it does give me visions of you standing down alleyway selling glue. That coat, the coat that opens up with all the glue bottles inside. How do you lot still carry on watching us?
I don't know.
That is the question.
I don't know. I've been on. So
He's speechless. He can't talk.
if you've never done lives, you might not know this because I'm not very good with technology. But the little screen that we go live on has a little counter in the top, tells us how many of you are with us. And I often look over at that and thinking it's going to be like naught because of, we've gone off on some random tangent that makes no sense to nobody. And yet you're all still here. It's very bizarre, but I'm very grateful you are. And it's lovely to have your company. But we'll bring in our tray and we'll have a little look at this, a bit of a close-up if the cameras will zoom in. So you've got the gold and the green glitter coming in with the green ink and, of course, our metallic green ink. So colour names, in case anyone would like to know what went into this tree. We used, of course, the emerald green from the Gemstone Texture Base. We used the Heliodor which is gold basically, but Heliodor from the Gemstone Texture Base. We used the cactus green of the metallic ink pads, and we used the chameleon green of the dye ink pads, or the quick dry pigment ink pad is what I should call it, and then the metallic ink pad. So lots of greens, and this is what I love about being able to bring you different shades of green throughout product ranges. It is easy to kind of do them all one green and just have one level, but actually having multiple shades can be really fun because it means when we come to build them up and do different things with them, we end up with different effects, and that can be really lovely. So once we have got our tree coloured and ready to go, we would then bring in lots of gems. Now I did this tree slightly differently, but I have covered this one already in multicoloured gems, full of Christmas baubles and sparkle, ready for the festive season. So we'll come to that and we'll put that together with our layers, shall we? So card blank size, so that we know where we're going this evening. We are going to be working on a 6.5 by 7.5. We've already gone on with a green layer, which matches the original colour of green in the card. We're then going to bring in our glue. Never going to look at a bottle of glue in the same way, am I?
No.
Honestly.
Sheila's asking, could you do some Christmas baubles, maybe? And there was no tone in my voice, if anyone is questioning that.
I don't know if you know what I've got planned for Christmas. I don't know if we've had that chat, have we?
We've discussed baubles before, haven't we?
Have we?
Part of Christmas, aren't they?
Absolutely. But no, maybe. Could
Sheila, lovely Sheila Kelly.
I love making
It's a maybe.
baubles. It is a maybe.
It could be an absolutely.
It might not be. I'm saying nothing. I just can't even. So, corners. This evening we are going to play with the Jolly Holly corners, which I'm sure are going to look lovely. What are you chuckling at now? Honestly, I don't know what you lot have said. I've lost him. He's gone. You don't get this on other people's, do you? Professionalism. And then there's us.
We need to polish this up, don't we?
We do need to. We're never going to be up there, are we?
We're not going to be global at this rate, are
Never
we?
going to be global. I doubt we're going to get out of the town, let alone global. Okay, so Jolly Holly corners. Let's bring these in and talk to you about these quickly. So our corners are done in quite a cool way. They have with them what I refer to as the X die. Now the X die is this die in the middle, and this isn't actually one I should be doing this with because it's a brand new one, but it's not the end of the world. So we have our X die. We then have our 4 filigree dies. Now these dies can stay in your cardstock. So if you don't want to cut them out, you want to leave them in as a corner, you can do that. If you bring in the X die and you place them back inside it, then of course you're going to have them cut out as a solid. If you use the X die on their own, then you're going to cut these little triangles, which are really cool because they make the backings to go behind the filigree panel. So X die on its own, it's going to give you this bit. X die with the filigree panels inside them is going to give you this bit. If we use those on their own, they will stay in your card. So let's show you what that means just as we're here. because it's nice to see that as well as what I'm going to show you. So we'll bring in just a die on its own. We'll find a piece of card quickly and we'll send this through, just so you see all options of this. So we'll bring in our die plate, we'll bring in our magnetic sheet, we'll stick on top a die, we'll find a piece of card. Let's see if we can find an offcut here of black card. Doesn't matter where it goes. And we'll send on our top plate and send that through the machine. Talking of our metallic inks today, did anybody, talking of pros actually, Peter, we both sat and watched Julie Hickey the other day, didn't we?
We did.
Playing with our metallic ink pads. She's a pro. You don't get her saying to people about the glue, do you? She's very, very good, that woman. Very, very,
But then
very
she
good.
hasn't got Alison down an alleyway in a Xander Panda this evening selling your glue.
So I feel Alison down the alleyway in a
She
Xander
said she'll be
Panda
down there.
selling her glue is all because of you.
Probably. And I haven't even got her a name badge yet.
You haven't got a name badge yet, and it's very poor. You send these people out to do these jobs and you don't give them the bits they need to do. Very, very poor. I think, Alison, we need to get you in contact with the HR department. So.
Have we got a HR department?
That's you.
Oh.
That's you as well.
Oh dear.
That's you. That's another little hat you can wear today. So the die is cut perfectly for us. So we can take that away from behind it. And not only has it cut, it's kind of rounded it for us. It's added them little score lines into the middle. And this is what I mean about it staying in place so that we create that beautiful aperture. Now we might choose to put a different colour behind there, might choose to put some glitter behind there, might choose to put a nesting die around it and trim it out. Of course, you get one of the square shapes with the set, so you've got a lovely square here. You might choose to put that over it and cut that out, leave them cut into the square. They're all options you can do, but for this project we're going to layer them because we've got the front and we've got the back, so we're going to bring the two together. So do I need to do one of these? I don't think I do. I've got all of mine done, so let's have a little look at this one. So we would do the same with our texture paste. We would green that up with a bit of sparkle and then we would glue one onto the other so that we end up with this solid background. In true Blue Peter style, this is what we're aiming for. So this one's had some green glitter put over the top of it, so it matches in with our tree. It's had some little red gems put on there, and it's been glued onto the Decadent Ivory, which is the colour card underneath it. We can then bring in our foam tape and add that to it, and we're going to bring these in and place them down in the corners. Now this corner die, as in with actually I think all of our corner dies to be honest, match up with our straight line die. So if you wish to do a line that matches from corner to corner, then you can. See how our corners, when we design these, we had this little straight line area onto the edges of them. Pretty much all of our corners have them, even the ones that come in with different sets, so that you can join them up and make frames out of them. Being honest with you, I've always loved peel off borders and corners and the way that you can take them and join them to make frames and then take them off to whatever size and dimensions you want them to be. And when I started designing corner dies, that was something that was really important to me, that I could do the same with those so that you could make frames out of them. Again, I approach so many of the things I make and do and design as a scrapbooker because of scrapbooking to me is so important. And actually being able to make a complete frame means that suddenly I can stick a photo in there. These corners, talking of scrapbooking, are also really great for making photo corners. Of course, you're going to pick where you put your foam tape, but being able to put your die, in this instance, or photo, and tuck that underneath that. We could literally tuck our photos, if it weren't for the foam tape where I've put them, into them and then keep our photos safe. We've not had to put any glue or any stickiness on our photo. We can use those as photo corners and that's going to work really nicely for us. So we're then going to bring in our die of our lovely tree and I'm going to stick this flat. Now, if I could find my little applicator, I could do this with an applicator. But because I've put my pearls all over the front of it already, it's going to be easier if I just walk it through some glue on my skin. Now, we don't encourage this, so you don't have to do as I'm doing. But for this, because I've put the gems on it already, it's going to be easier. So we're going to go with it. And then we're going to bring the tree in. And we're going to hope, actually, because I haven't really thought that bit through. Oh, dear. We're going to bring these off. We're going to bring them up. We'll see if we can bring them up a bit. Sorry, whoever wins this card. That's fine. We can do that. There we go. So corners after tree. Moral of the story, and then we can take the corners back down. That's fine. We'll place the tree back in there. There we go. So we now have our framed tree full of glitz and glamour, lots and lots of pearls. Should we wrap a ribbon around it just to finish it off? Always love a ribbon. So this time we're going to add a green ribbon. And this ribbon has got a nice gold fleck to it. So we're going to tie this up and around the edge of our card just to bring in that golden shimmer that we've created and that little bit of gold that we have got in the layers and in the star there on the top of the tree. And I've got far too much ribbon here, but that's fine. And we'll just tie that, and then we can bring in some scissors and trim that off. There we go. And this is another card that we will send out to one lucky winner with the other one that we've done as well. Now we are well over our time, Peter. Are we doing a third, or are we going to leave them in peace? Would you like a third card, or are you happy to leave us in peace and we will see you on Wednesday? Let us know in the comments. Do you want another one, or have you had enough? Do you want to get back to your bank holidays and enjoy the peace? Now, let's have a little read of some comments while we're waiting to see what you want. Another demo or not? Diane says, I've made a fab sample using Julie's ink technique to share later. Yeah, they were some really good techniques, weren't they? Brilliant, Julie. Really enjoyed that live. I do as say not as I do moment, Jamie. I'm lost with that one, Sheila. Probably something I said earlier, isn't it? So, oh, Joanne says a third. Should we do a third? Pippa says Pippa shared the most beautiful card with us earlier on our group. If you haven't seen it, we did share it on the main page. But if you haven't seen it, go and give it some love because it's incredible. It's like a triple easel card in octagons with the Cuddly Clan animals dotted across it, and it looks really, really, really cool. And it's actually really nice. When we talk of Christmas, that's Christmas, and it's really nice to see how the Cuddly Clan, of course, are going to come in for Christmas, already in their stylings of what we've got already. But maybe we'll have to have some Cuddly Clan Christmasness. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
That was not instigated by me.
There was nothing. There's nothing to instigate or not instigate. There was no confession. There was just maybe we should. There's a lot of maybes in life. It doesn't mean they're all going to happen.
I think a lot of people would like to see a third demo.
Should we do a third one then? And then I promise I'm going to leave you because we're back Wednesday, and you don't want to be stuck with us all of the time, do you? But as we are turning back time, I think we should play with the Cuddly Clan.
Sheila says a Cuddly Clan Santa would be wonderful. It's a nice card.
That's a lovely card. And I'm see, you only read out the comments.
Day coming up, so
you only read out the comments that I can not react to. I can tell you that there will be some new Rodneys this year, hopefully. If all goes to plan, we will have new Rodneys. Rodney, for anyone who doesn't know who Rodney is, Pete will have to find the packet. But Rodney is, of course, our snowman that was hugely popular last year. And he's going to have a family this year. He doesn't know it yet, so cover his ears, Pete, when you find him. But he's going to have a family because I don't like the idea of him being without a family. He was so popular, he needs that family. So we're going to bring in our Canine Paw Prints stencil. Now this, of course, come out with the Cuddly Clan. And I haven't actually shown you the Cuddly Clan, so we'll do that in a minute. We'll do this bit first, and then I'll show you the rest of the Cuddly Clan. But we're going to bring in our Canine Paw Print stencil. We're going to remember this time to tape it down in place because we are going to be inking over the top of it. And we're going to hold that down with some tape. We're going to flip that over and add on our mat so that we emboss it. And of course you don't have to do this because we're going to be stenciling through the stencil. But I always think if you emboss it, you end up with a lot nicer finish and a lot more texture. Oh, I've done something wrong. Let's try again. Wait there. And then we'll introduce you to Rodney. Oh, have I broke it? When in doubt, let's turn it round and go that way. Speak amongst yourselves for a moment. Oh, it's not happy, is it? So we'll change plates. Changing plates. Oh, now I think I've moved my sensor. Oh, it was going so well.
Yeah. I think they want a Santa.
I'd like a Santa.
Mm.
We had a lovely Santa stamp last year, didn't we? But this is Rodney. In case anyone hasn't yet met Rodney, this is of course Rodney. Rodney is our beautiful snowman stamp. As I say, cover his ears. This year he will have to have some friends or family.
Poor Rodney.
Why poor Rodney?
Well, he doesn't know what's planned for him, does he? Well, he
No,
should do by now, really.
We have told him a lot, actually, haven't we, that there is going to be some more friends.
Diane says we had so many fabulous cards shared in the group lately.
We have. We've had some incredible cards. I'm very, very naughty because I haven't been on to comment on them on the last couple of days, and I need to go back and comment. But that is on my list to do in the morning, is to catch up with all of the ones that our lovely admins have been sharing with you, because I haven't been approving them over the weekend, and I need to get back to it because I like to make sure that I share and see what you've all been creating. So I don't know why that hasn't embossed brilliantly. I haven't quite got my plates right, but that's not the end of the world. We're going to bring in some ink, and we're going to ink over the top of this. So we need a brown. So I'm going to go for gathered twigs in this one. I think I did my original one with tea dye, but we just want a nice light brown, basically. And we're going to go over the top of this. Just to go through the stencil. Now, you might want to choose to do this with one of the Elite Misters, for instance, or you might wish to do this with some glitter using a self-adhesive sheet instead. There are lots and lots of different ways you could be using this stencil. It's one of the things I love about stencils is all the different ways we can use them and all the different mediums we can bring into play with them. But yeah, certainly explore and play. And of course, although we've anchored this one down and we've done our embossing first, the ink that we put on the top of this stencil could be letterpressed off and onto our next panel or our next project. So we'll carry on adding this over the top. I'm just going to do a small amount of this. Is there any other comments or questions that we've got here? Oh, Teresa's saying she must get Rodney. Rodney genuinely has been a sellout storming of a stamp, hasn't he? He's been one we've struggled to keep in stock all year since he come out last year. Hence why I think he needs more family, he needs more of a collection. I always like if we can build a scene, and I think because of that, it's like with the Cuddly Clan, they're all them sort of interchangeable elements that can work between them to build up larger scenes, and I feel that we need to do that with Rodney so that he can kind of be the star of his own story. And although I'm saying he'll have a family, and I think we will have different looks to Rodney, if you potentially wanted to be able to use them together in a project, you're going to be able to sort of tell the story of Rodney slightly, is my kind of plan. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, definitely more Rodneys this year. Okay, I'll ink over that. Now I'm kind of reluctant to leave that ink because I said to you all that we could letterpress from this bit. So shall we show you what that is? Now I know we've done that a million times, but I never like to say something and then not explain what I mean. Because if you're new and you might not have seen it, it's nice to kind of see what I'm rabbiting about as we go through it. So we'll take off this bit of tape if we can get that off down here. No, that bit might be there for a while. I think that might be staying for its time. But what I mean is this ink on top of the stencil, it's always very tempting to wash that away or clean that off. But we can make use of this ink. We can do more with this ink. We can take that ink and we can add to it, and we can then send that through our machine again. So let's see if we can find something to do that with. Felt like I was going to sing Let's Do the Time Warp then. Let's bring in, I'm trying to find something that's going to look nice. Shall we do the floral vine? Florals? Yeah, that might work. We'll bring that in and we'll find a stamp press quickly. And this is what we've done. This is the panel that we need. So we'll place that off to one side. We'll bring in our stencil. and we'll place that on the inside of our stamp press, and we're going to put a piece of paper under it so that when we stamp on the top of the stencil it doesn't go through to the underneath, and mark our mat. And we're going to anchor that down with a small bit there. We're going to lay that on the top there. We'll pick that up now. Sure, colour wise, I'm thinking maybe we go for something you can see. I don't want to do a colour you're not going to see, so let's do Festive Berries. So we're going to go over the top of the stamp. And an oxide ink is great for this, and metallic inks are good for this. We basically want an ink that's going to stay wet for a while so that it's got enough open time to print from the stencil and onto the piece of card. So we're going to bring that over and we're going to stamp that down. Oh, Diane likes the idea of a snow family. I think we're going to have to do that, aren't we? I have to. So we've stamped onto here, and hopefully you can see that coming through, that little bit of texture there, that little bit of red dotted through. We would then, and you don't have to stamp on the top of it, we could have just gone with the brown ink that was there. We don't have to add more to it. But we're going to go back to our machine, and we're going to bring in a piece of card, and we're going to lay that over the top of the stencil. We're going to place our mat below that, our rubber mat, so that we've got that push-up element. And we're going to add in a couple more pieces of card, actually. So we didn't quite get enough pressure last time we did our embossing. So we'll add in a couple more and see if we can just squidge that slightly more. As always, when we're working with machines and we're doing cutting or embossing, it's all about the amount of pressure that goes between the rollers within the machine. We don't want too much pressure, because if there's too much pressure, it's going to send it back out. If we don't put enough pressure in, it's not going to do the job that we're asking it to do, because there's just nothing squidging it together. So sometimes a piece of card, otherwise known as a shim, can be a great help, because it will just up the ante and push it down slightly more. So I've added in a couple of pieces to this one. We'll see how that comes out. Oh, that's not great. I still don't think we've got quite enough pressure. But I'll show you what we did so you can see what I mean. So the stamp of the flower and the ink have transferred from the stencil and onto the panel. Now I can see we didn't put in enough pressure because there's no embossing. There's no depth. Oh, I know why. What a nana. So we should have put it that way round, so that that mat pushed down on top. It doesn't matter. You get the idea. But it's about pushing to indent or emboss and transfer the ink from the top of the stencil. So not important, but good that you know how to do it. Don't follow me. Follow what I say, not what I do. But here's the one earlier that we've created with the proper embossing and, of course, the inking over the top. And that inking over the embossing just gives a much crisper look. So emboss first, then ink like we did. So onto our card blank for this one. We're going to bring in our actual card. We're going to bring back that same stencil, and we're going to go round the edges here. So all we would do, have I got one of these done, or do I actually need to do it? I think I might actually need to do it properly. Oh no, I don't. I've got one done. So we would bring in the same stencil, and we would just go lightly around the edges. So we don't have to be too full on, because we don't want this to be as bold as the layer on the top. We're going to be covering a lot of the middle. So we would just be coming in and patching this together, going around the sides. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just building a frame, going around the sides. Go down this bit. Now I've got a little bit of the red here, because obviously we stamped on ours and then did our embossing bit. Now you wouldn't normally have that, because you don't necessarily have to have done that bit, but it don't hurt. A little bit of another colour coming through won't hurt. But there is our kind of frame that we've created with our stencil. Now I'm going to go to the one that I've done earlier, just because it's slightly better. I might not have any hints of red lurking within it. And then we're going to bring in some layers of card. So we're going to go for our seashell blue card, and we're going to bring that in as our first layer and place that down on the top here. We're then going to bring in the panel we've just worked on. And at this stage, I'm going to get Pete to pass over our cuddly clan from behind him, so that I can just introduce you to the characters that are within that collection while we start building this one up. We're then going to bring in a blue circle, and we're going to place a blue circle down in the middle there. Now, our cuddly clan, if you've not seen them before, we will be using, where is he? we're going to be using Hazardous Henry. So Hazardous Henry is a stamp and die set, same with all of our Cuddly Clan. I always want to call them critters, but critters makes me think of like spiders, and they're not critters, they're animals. But our Cuddly Clan animals. So this one is Hazardous Henry. So in here you have got stamps and dies that match. We'll be using those in a moment. You've then got Deirdre, the Disco Diva, who is a bit of a drinker, loves a party, likes to boogie down to ABBA. And again, you have got sentiments and picture stamps, as well as the dies to go and cut them all out. And then we've got Freddie the Fisherman. Freddie the Fisherman is our beautiful little cat, which of course has not again only got the stamps, but also got the matching dies, so that you can go ahead and stamp and then cut out all of those matching elements. And when you start using these are the effects you can create. So there is our stamp and die combo matching of Hazardous Henry, of Freddie the Fisherman, and then of course Deirdre the Disco Diva. Within this release, we also had a few stencils. We had, of course, the one that we was just using, the Canine Paws and Bones. We then had Balloons and Streamers, that goes perfectly with Deirdre. We then had the Feline Paws and Bones, that of course is going to go with Freddie. And we had the Spanners, which goes with Hazardous Henry, just to build up those backgrounds. And then in this release, we also had the Floral Bouquet, giving you flowers and foliage to build up to go with the set, or matching with that cartoony style. And again, this is a collection I don't think we've seen the end of yet. I keep thinking we're going to bring back more of these flowers and more of these foliage and do more with them. But of course, you will still want or need this set, because that will give you different sizes. If we do it, probably won't be till next year now, but there might be more from that release, just because I really like these flowers and they're ones I go back to all of the time. So that's the Cuddly Clan collection. Let's carry on with our building. So we've gone for our plain circle. We're then going to bring in a decollete edge and stitched circle that we're going to place on the top here. We're then going to bring in a smaller set of circles that is going to go up in this top corner. And we're going to bring in the plain circle once again. And we're going to bring in our deckled circle. I'm going to place that on the top. When this collection came out, we also had an alphabet come out with it called the Velvet Script Collection, which is an uppercase, lowercase and numbers set. So for this one, we've used just the numbers from in that set to make our 40 on the top. When I was setting out to do this evening, I was thinking about, but I didn't realise that was already stuck on, but bringing in some of our new sentiments. Again, we'll look at these on Wednesday, but like number one, Dad, Father's Day is just around the corner. We could have gone for a slightly larger circle and added on number one, Dad instead, or one of the Happy Father's Days, or Best Dad in the World, because of Father's Day is June, and that's not a million miles away. So then on to Henry. Henry's already been stamped and die cut. So just for speed, because I'm conscious of time, we've already stamped and die cut him. So we're going to bring him in and we're going to place him down on the edge there. And then we're going to bring in our matching stamped and dyed fishing rod. The fishing rod, of course, comes with Freddie the Fisherman. So we're going between our two sets and creating a different look. We are also, which is the bit I have nearly forgot, we are also going to trim off Hazardous Henry's spanner, because we don't want him to be a workman. We want him to be out having a relaxing day, doing some fishing. So by removing his spanner, we can then place down the fishing rod, and the fishing rod will then sit there instead for us. So very easy to interchange between them. And then we're going to bring in some ribbon to just tie in those browns that we've got, those different layers of browns, those different textures of browns. Now, while I'm tying this ribbon, Peter, have you already picked a winner for this evening?
Yes, I have.
Oh, look at you,
Yeah.
super organised, impressed. So I'll tie my bow, and we'll bring in, if I can tie my bow, that is, and we'll bring in our 3 cards that we've made this evening. If anyone has any questions, please let us know before we go, and we will do our best to answer them for you. I will try and catch up with them later if not, and I've missed anyone. We've come to this later down the road, but it's always good if I can catch you while we're live. I can try and answer your questions for you. So any last minute questions before we say good night. So that is our 3rd demo. So we've got Hazardous Henry. We have got our lovely Christmas tree coming in from the Christmas Essential collection. And then we started the evening with our Floral Wonder card. Now, as I mentioned, we will be back on Wednesday for Stockist launch day of the brand new travel collection. So 7 o'clock Wednesday, we will return for another hour or so filled full of inspiration with that brand new collection. Do you have a get well soon stamp, Joanna asks? Yes, we do. I'm sure we do. I'm going by memory here. We have one in with the floral lace collection. And then we have a die. Pete's found us the die to begin with, Joanne. Let's have a little look at the die for you. So the die is your get well soon die set, comes with 2 panels to build up with. But there is a stamp, I'm sure, in the floral lace. Thank you, Peter. And this is it here somewhere. There we go, get well soon, just down on the side. You also get happy birthday, thinking of you, sending hugs, best wishes, birthday wishes, sent with love, and then some bigger verses that say, sending you all the wishes in the world for the happiest year ahead, sending love and wishes on your most magical day, wishing you the most magical birthday filled full of love, presents, cake and wishes for the year ahead. And lastly, hoping you have the most fantastic day filled full of birthday magic to help you celebrate this special day. And that's the set from the floral lace collection called Lace Sentiments. Oh, brilliant. I have that somewhere twice too. Oh, I love it. Honestly, you're just like me. I never have a clue what's going on. It's amazing that I'm not alone. Okay, so Peter, come on, who's our winner?
So congratulations this evening goes to, drum roll.
I did it once, that was my little bit. Do I have to do more of this?
We haven't got any singing yet.
Not having singing.
Goes to a lovely Dawn Thompson. Congratulations to Dawn.
Congrats, Dawn.
She says she bought 4 eggs, but her son-in-law missed out because she ate it. So, but yes, congratulations, Dawn.
We don't blame you.
Thank you for joining.
There is no shame.
Antics.
Do not fear. This is like a, what is it they do? Like not cone of silence. Your secret is safe is basically what I'm saying. We won't tell anybody if you don't. Yeah, no judgment. No judgment at all, is there? Ali, I just see you asked the question of what stamp did we do to begin with, I believe, before it moved up my screen. It was, and I just think you've asked this, so I get it wrong again, because of, you know I can't pronounce this. This was the anemone I'm going to go with, which is where Nemo lives. It isn't, it's a flower. But it is anemone from the Floral Wonder collection. And we coloured it with alcohol markers. And then we added over the top a little bit of the diamond white texture paste and the snow white of the Gilding Wax. Gilding Wax we'll have a little look at on Monday evening. But it was the anemone that we used. Congratulations, Dawn. Thank you all so much for joining in this evening. Sorry if we've gone on for absolutely hours. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for giving up a little bit of your bank holiday to be with us. It's always a joy to have you with us. Dawn, before I forget, can you message us to the page your address and if you'd like your cards signed or not, please, and we will get them popped in the post as soon as possible. But from us, let's start with Pete.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our stupidity. So see you on Wednesday for our Wednesday waffle.
Wednesday waffle. Can we call it Wednesday waffle? Wednesday waffle stockist launch. We're not very professional, are we? Judy Hickey wouldn't call it a Wednesday waffle. I need to brush up on this, Peter.
They like us like this.
I don't know if they do. They might have gone by
more
now.
fun apparently.
Only 0 people are here now. Okay, let's go. Thank you all, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on Wednesday, 7 p.m, when we will do the stockist launch. So see you 7 p.m. Wednesday. Bye for now, all.
Bye for now.